Right. Just forget the part about medicine, word medicine, right? But anyway, I'm going to make discuss mainly about medicine, but it will be useful for any administrative work. So I'm asked to tell you something about medico-legal issues that could mainly arise in managing hospitals, involve hospital and health professionals. So there may be issues pertaining to uh, individuals, groups, or even institutions, and maybe some instance or some event might include involve all categories, individual groups, and even the institution. Right? So, if say one day of being a manager of such institution, you might have to face certain situations that you have to deal with these issues. You have to deal, and some issues, though we say it's can see like medical legal and medicine, but some are common for any remedial situation. Now, in the past, say maybe a decade ago, um, probably you might have heard about certain issues or court cases filed by the general public against doctors, nurses, or health professionals or institution much. Because now the situation has changed. People know what is to be expected from a standard health care service, and they can anytime get into the web and search for anything and find out what's happening globally around. And so they are well aware, most of, not all, most of them are well better aware about the situation now than a decade ago. So these issues rise because now we have a law in the country, right? So everybody knows, because knows that someone does something wrong, that they can take legal action either through police, the normal channel, or even civil litigation, right? Sometimes does not involve the police or the investigation, you take civil action. So civil action mainly deals with taking compensation from the other party. Then also the educational level of the public, which has increased, and also the increment of access to information. Like I told you, the web-based information is available anywhere, and even if you have a smartphone, from any point you can access internet. And so, due to these things, general public is well aware about what's happening around the world, in the country, and the necessary action they could take with regard to certain issues. Now, this is what happening is when it is a hospital, ML is a medical legal case, right? So, in now so even private hospitals, maybe a few years back, say about 10 years back, any point in most of the people who are subject to trauma or accidents, injuries, or assaults, they don't go to private sector. Because there was a belief that if you go to the private sector, that police will not take any action against the accused party. And also most of the time, private hospitals, they did not accept these things because of the legal consequences. Not that the hospital has to go to, anyone from the hospital has to go to courts and give evidence, but there is a mere possibility that someone who is involved in the management process being called to give evidence at courts. So just to avoid that, they didn't accept. Straight away they say, no, you go to a government hospital. But now of course they can't do that also. Okay, person might sue the hospital just because you refuse the patient to be admitted. And also now sometimes some treatment procedures or manage investigation procedures available in the private sector, right? So even a patient can file a human rights case, a violation of human rights case, if a private hospital refuse to admit a certain patient. Because according to our law, according to human rights, any person in Sri Lanka, any person can go to any hospital in the country and get it. If I want, school that I am living in Colombo, I can go to even Japan and get it. Say, there's a known doctor to me at the hospital and say this, okay, I will look after. That's no problem. Even just go and do the OPD and tell what your problem is and get admitted. Likewise, you can get admitted to any government hospital, any private hospital. But it's not the system in most other countries. Like Western countries, they have a system that you can't go anywhere you want to get water and get it. There's a certain there's a now for example Canada. They have this GP, general practitioner, which has given an area. So all the people in that area they have some problem to go to the GP. Even some acute cases, sudden illnesses like even heart attacks, sometimes they have to first go to the general practitioner, get his authorization for admission, and then go to the hospital. Otherwise, they won't admit. Right? So there are pros and cons of all these systems. Right? Now, for example, in our country, sometimes it's just a waste of time and money. Right? Someone who is far away from Colombo, having a natural, I mean, or illness, it does not necessitate even been seen by a consultant or a specialist, take leave, spend money, come all the way to Colombo, channel outside, right? Get treatment from private hospital, buy the medicine from outside, and go back, right? Because it is allowed. No one will question why did you come from that place to Colombo and you won't return back, right? Because in some cases, it's a waste of money and time, and even losing your work hours, right? So when you consider the economic situation, that might adversely affect the economic situation in the country as a whole. But on the other hand, like the system in Canada, sometimes if the patient needs very urgent treatment, because you have to go through the system, there are unnecessary delays. Like the patient suffers by a heart attack, right? I have to go to the general practitioner, get his authorization, and go to the hospital. Right? That delay might cost his life. Right? That's happening. So, but on the other hand, the system is such that I mean minor illnesses treated by the GP. And if investigations and they say there's a special center, there are special centers, so related there, they get the investigation done. Right? So minor illnesses settled at the local level. Never goes to the hospital. But on the other hand, there is an emergency, it might, I mean, there may be delays and even might cost patients life. So there are pros and cons of all both systems. And even within the hospital, there will have to stick to a certain system. Right? So if you are a junior doctor in the board, right? If you want to say get an opinion and if you have some suspicions about say a medical ward, a patient gets admitted with say some condition and the house of the most junior doctor who is working in the ward has some suspicion to say that this is not a medical, this is a surgical case. The patient needs an operation where you have to refer the patient to a surgeon. But then but he can't straight away bypass others and inform the surgical side. To inform his superior, then the the specialist involved, then he will write to uh, the other specialist, and then he will come and examine and take over. Right? Here also that system is there. You don't, I mean, specialist to specialist, it has to be referred from by a specialist to another specialist. A junior doctor cannot refer a patient to a specialist, right? But now we have different levels of doctors to take of government hospital. The top person is the specialist or the consultant who is in charge of that ward or unit. Then he will have senior registrars and registrars. Senior registrars are people who have completed their local postgraduate training, got through the exams and awaiting or going through the postdoctoral training local and awaiting to go abroad for abroad training. The registrars are who are still in the training and not past the final. Then they will have senior house officers who has well, not in the training program but has some experience working in the system. Then they will have house officers or intern medical officers who have just pass out from the medical faculty and going their mandatory training, 1 year training. Right? So that basically if you take a board in the national hospital, then about 5 levels. Right? So most junior doctor or the doctor below the specialist cannot refer a patient to a specialist on the other side. But now senior registrar can ask another senior registrar to come and see. Or even the junior doctors or below the consultant can refer a patient or get the opinion from a senior registrar or registrar who's above them from the other side. Right? So they will come and they will inform their specialists, and if they need it, they will take for the patient. Right? And in some cases, emergency cases, even without asking from the specialist, they go and do whatever necessary. Right? So that's here, of course, system is there, but there are ways to, I don't think, bypass, but alternative ways to get the things done quickly. Canada, of course, to do that, you will be in trouble. They will have inquiry for not obeying by the hospital rules. Right? When I was in Canada for my training, I was in 2005, 2006. Just before I went, I was small problem. It was a Sri Lankan doctor who was in the medical side, and a woman was admitted with some fever and something, medical side, and especially sassy, so prescribed some drugs. And this doctor examining decided, they will diagnose the case to be appendicitis. And then we thought the appendix might have even rupture. So it's a surgical emergency. And he was new, and he had some idea about the system, but it was soon after going. I was more used to the Sri Lankan system. What he did was he took the phone and informed the surgeon on the other side that this patient is probably ruptured appendix. So you can't do it, but on the other hand, when a doctor informs another, it's his duty to come and see. Otherwise, the patient can later make allegations that after even informing, they don't regard the system. He or she come and see. So the surgeon came because he wanted to avoid that sort of litigation. Came, took over, and he did surgery, operated, and found actually ruptured appendix. Right? So the pain. So there was an inquiry. The inquiry commenced, but it was dropped at the first sitting itself because they said that now, though the doctor has gone out of the system and informed the specialist, his diagnosis was correct. patient was had ruptured away, fell fixed to the normal routine, patient had even died because there will be remaining delay. Right? So the case was dropped, right? But it was something else. They will not having interdict or remove from cells, but more first of first students will be born, right? But that is a system. But we don't have a system like that. Even in some cases, senior registrar on one side might even call specialists. So yeah, you will come and see. So our system is not that rigid, but this both system has its pros and cons. Our one is mainly it's a wasting of time and manpower. I mean, it, know that agree that the normal viral tool or a normal code has no point. I mean, point wasting a consultant or specialist time for that. Right? Well, that's not necessary. Right? So now coming back to this MLC or the medical legal cases, because government hospitals you don't have to worry much because it's the system is used to that, doctors are used to that, and even people know that is going to be done, and even the police who get involved in investigating a medical legal case, they are yet to that. But now if you take a, for example, NHS National Hospital, there is a police post within the hospital station at the emergency accident and emergency unit. Right? So they know when the patient gets admitted, then they are informed, they do the rest. But when it's the private sector, then a little bit, I won't say it's a gray, even a gray area, but sometimes it goes on because police, some police officers think that when you go to a private hospital following some kind of injury or assault or accident, they are in the opinion that the patients cannot take legal action just because you went to the private. So sometimes when they are informed or the patient make complaints, they refuse issuing certain documents. But government hospital, there's just nothing like that. On the other hand, now the private hospitals cannot refuse to admit such patients because it's their right. The patient has the right to decide from their treatment and even sometimes even the type of treatment or method of treatment. Right? So therefore, when a case or a patient is admitted to a private hospital, private institution, the doctor who is managing the ward or the patient in the ward has to decide whether this is a case which necessitates police or some kind of investigation. Right? So, medical legal case is defined as any case of injury or ailment where the attending doctor, after history taking is where you get the details about what happened, and the clinical examination, then you examine the patient, and he considers that investigation by a law enforcement agency, usually the police, in some cases if it is a military personnel, maybe some military authority, like if it is a soldier, army soldier, might be even the army which takes necessary action. So we decide that investigations are warranted to ascertain circumstances and fix responsibility regarding the said teacher. Right? So it is his decision. He is the one who deciding whether this is a medical legal case or not. Right? So if the doctor who is examining the patient decides that this is a medical legal case, then the next step is to inform the police. Right? So even with slightest suspicion, you can term or classify it as a medical legal case and inform the police. There are some instances that there's no doubt. I mean, if the patient get with following a road traffic accident or a assault and sustained injury, then you direct say that we know that this is a medical legal case. There's no doubt. There's no point thinking about whether to inform or not. Right? So once informed, right, the police has to take some action. They can't just refuse to investigation just because the patient is admitted to a private hospital or has seen private treatment. So they will come and take a statement and do the initial investigation, and then they might say that no, this doesn't warrant any further investigation, and they might drop it. So that is a difference. If even if it is a legal case where this is necessary legal action, there are some instances that can be settled at the police level. Even a assault or road traffic accident, the victim has sustained minor injuries, and especially the victim does not want to go to courts, take legal action, can be settled that way. On the other hand, if the patient has sustained serious injuries, like threatening injuries, then even the patient's relations, patient's party cannot say or decide not to go to courts or not to take legal action. Police will take because the act itself necessitates taking legal action according to law. Right? So even if you classify a case as medical legal case, everything that you will do is to inform the police. It is the duty of the police to come and do the test. They will investigate and drop it, and it is not a medical legal or not a medical legal, it's not a case that warrants any legal action. Then even if it is warrants legal action, if it is a minor injury, a minor case, it will be settled. Settled. And in serious injuries, whether the patient's party likes it or not, police will take action and file a case. Now, when you go to the court procedures, this is not restricted to medical practice or hospital. Even another normal institution can face this problem. One thing is criminal procedures. Right? The offense, the wrongful act is considered as a criminal act. Then usually it is dealt by the magistrate courts. Then there will be civil procedures, like someone wants a civil procedures means usually they seek compensation from the other party. Or even land cases, right? Um, divorce cases, those are civil cases. There are no criminal offense. Okay? Then it actually usually go through district court. So this is the system we are having. It is for don't think that in a non-medical institution or institution which not involving provision of any type of health services will not face criminal procedure because we don't get patients with following accidents and assaults and so on. But there may be situation where some criminal act happening within the situation, institution, right? If someone comes and stab me within this institution, sometimes the institution has to start an investigation and see what has happened. Or one of the institution employees get involved or alleged of committing some criminal offense within the institution. Right? Uh, Commonly types of abuse, like child abuse, sexual abuse, or something, which cannot can happen. Sexual harassment in an institution which amounts to criminal offense. Right? So even a normal institution, not a health related institution, can face these type of charges depending on the incident that has happened. Right now, just to give you an idea about our court system, there are two types of proceedings: criminal proceedings, civil proceedings. Criminal is an act which is considered as a crime or which is described in the Penal Code of Sri Lanka. Penal Code of Sri Lanka describes certain offences and the related punishment. Then we have the Code of Criminal Code Procedure, which deals with or give description about what to do if a criminal offence has been committed. It is a procedure. So it is governed by those. Then we have the civil complaints, as I told you, divorce cases, maintenance cases, land cases, or asking for compensation for something. So that will be conducted as a civil court procedure and goes to this line. Right? So when there's a criminal act, criminal offense, as I told you earlier, the magistrate courts will deal with it. And when it is civil proceedings, the court called district courts will deal with it. So there are two parallel courts, criminal, civil, right? But when it comes to this, probably you have heard about these different types of courts: High Court, Appeal Court, Supreme Court. This is the topmost. So I have put it at the bottom, right? It is the most superior one, most powerful one, right? So what happened if this magistrate court gives a decision or slightly different here. Now if you take a land case, now district court will hear the case and give a verdict. Either party is not happy about the verdict, they can appeal, but directly to the appeal courts. Then appeal court will go through the case, give a verdict. Any party not happy about the verdict, they can appeal to the Supreme. So Supreme Court will take up the case and see what to do. Decision of the Supreme Court will be final. There are instances like probably you have heard that people say they are due to international courts and things. I don't know. There are courts dealing international affairs, mainly human rights violation, not this civil thing, right? With the decision regarding a decision given with regard to some land case, you can't go to Geneva or somewhere complain for the international courts. That is out. But these international courts usually deal with human rights involving governments and people. And in the civil proceeding, there are cases where involves high amount of monetary value, like now this treasury bond case, or else sometimes when they have this, there's some fraud involving that tax collection with amounts. Hello? Literally, I might lecture in I am just a second. I'm not going to That's it. Yeah, well, how do you look? Hi, I'm electricity in there. Right. So those cases with high monetary involvement in area, we usually most of the cases, more than 90% cases goes through the magistrate court. Then like a murder, magistrate court will have the think that there's enough evidence to proceed with. They will refer the case to the Attorney General's department, and Attorney General's department will file the proper case proper at the High Court level, and the High Court will give the verdict. And cases of child abuse and sexual assaults, some cases they bypass this and they file the case directly at the High Court level. That also depends on the case, the needs of the individual case. Right? So this is the usual court system we have, right? So anyone who is filing a suit, if I'm filing my personal case, it's always a civil case. If it is a criminal, it is done by the and the other thing is our system, the court system, the legal system is somewhat different. There are I think two system. Other one is the adversarial system. Inquisitorial system is where when case comes up in the court, the judge who's hearing the case will decide, ask the questions, will inquire into certain aspect, try to find the advice the lawyers to get certain people as witnesses. They will do the most of the investigation. But the adversarial system, which is we practice to some degree, there are certain variation. Now, even lawyer says we have a practice an inquisitor. Yeah, new word in adversarial system. The mix of certain things done as an inquisitorial. Yeah, the person who's investigating in charge of the case. But mainly all other cases, the adversarial system where the lawyers of the two parties, and they will examine or cross-examine question, extract information and advise or present it to the judge. Anyone who has gone present in the courts, I have seen what is the case. Then, now what happens is when we go to give evidence, it is a lawyer who asks the questions. Judge is not allowed to ask questions from the witness. Very important cases might advise usually the state counsel to look into this aspect, but in the court, can't directly ask any questions with regard to evidence unless something to clarify. Say, I tell something in the courts and judge might find difficult to understand what I have meant. So then he can ask me what did you mean or what is the meaning of this. But you can ask direct questions. What is your opinion is through the lawyer. So lawyer will question you, extract the information, and judge will listen. So that is why we call it adversarial system. And at the end of the case, usually you have written oral and written submission by both parties. One thing is the summarized case for their file, have a printed, type it, and give it as a written submission. And the final days, they have the oral submission from the state side and the accused defense. So they will tell the judge, this is what has happened, this is what is witness told the court, and so based on that, judge or the panel of judges or the jury will decide the outcome. There's a small variation from this adversarial system in one area. I'll tell you later. So with regard to law, there are statutory laws. It is enacted by legislation. It is there, right? Like the Penal Code, the Reserve Motor Traffic Act, Torture Act. There are certain legislation that can make that this is an offence. This is the procedure. This is the punishment. And then, in addition to that, we have the judge-made laws or case laws. Where the judges who are taking the decision will base their decision on an earlier case. Right? Say, deal with the case, and most of the aspects, evidence given, things are something that is similar to a previous case. Yeah, have been taken up and the verdict has been given. So he compares this case, the new case, with the earlier case, that he thinks that it is almost similar, and the decision or the basis in which the decision was taken in the previous case would be applied to this. He will cite, or he might hear that, heard that that mentioned that previous cases in the verdict, right? So in this case, so and so was the state, this was the decision taken. So and so versus this person. So based on that, they will decide and give the verdict, right? But those are not statutory laws, right? Other lawyers, other parties can argue against it. So, and sometimes when it, now can you remember this the Royal Park murder case where a young girl was killed, right? So that was not based on case laws, but the High Court gave a verdict, right? And both parties were not. Well, I think the High Court verdict is about, I think, 20 years in for the accused. And then the Criminal Department was not happy. What they said, no, it is murder. The verdict has to be death sentence. The accused party was not happy. They said the sentence was too much. And before the AG's department, like the accused party appealed to the appeal courts. So appeal court took up the case. When it goes to the appeal court, no new witnesses could be called based on the previous witnesses, previous records. So appeal court took up the case and they decide. Now this is the accused party, the alleged killer party that filed appeal, asking for a lesser sentence. The appeal court took up the case and they decide, no, the sentence is not enough. So they convert 20 years to death sentence. And I think it went to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court also confirmed the appeal court decision. So now the verdict given by High Court was changed. Usually it was increased. Right? So these things can happen. But even consider now when it goes to the appeal courts and Supreme Court, usually they don't go behind these judgment laws and case laws, they go on the statutory laws. But at the High Court, Magistrate, District Court level, they will consider these things. Right? Because now, if something goes wrong, the verdict is wrong or not actually 100% correct, the aggrieved party has the option to appeal to the High Court. But if it is like appeal courts and Supreme Court, then you can't go beyond that. So therefore, when it goes to appeal court and Supreme Court, usually they go by the statutory laws without regarding, you don't consider the case laws. But lower levels, they will also. Right. So the problem is now statutory laws are also getting amended. Right? Now the statutory law with regard to sexual assault has been amended in 95 and again 98. And that certain laws being now the laws with regard to abortion is on the discussion. Whether to change it or not. I don't think that it will be changed. But the discussion. So even the statutory laws are being amended frequently. Judge-made laws and case laws also change. Because now there may be a case where the verdict is given in a different way and a similar type of case that has given different. Right? So the third case, the next judge will either use the first case or consider the second case and make their decision. So judge laws or case laws keep on changing, probably even monthly or yearly. But statutory laws, not that frequent, maybe every 5 years, 10 years, as it is, they will amend. Now, all these current medical legal issues and the charge has been increased mainly due to these four. One thing is the judicial system, which the way that they deal with the cases, change of statutory laws, change of case and judgment laws keeps on changing. Right? So we have specific laws and you elaborate on some aspect, then the issues coming up become more. Then with regard to the health professional, the acts and decision taken by the medical council, who is the regulatory body for health professional, they will change their regulation. So that also might cause rising of certain issues. Then the standard of care, like in a health facility institution, so standard of care is increasing day by day, right? It's not the level that existed 2 months ago, it's certainly higher, right? So it keeps evolving. So when the expected standard of care increases, then the medical legal issues or legal issues arising out of that will be more. Then again, criminalization of doctors in say does not mean that you consider all doctors as criminals, but the access or the information patients can get with regard to diseases, diagnosis, management, and even health care, and their expectations from a government hospital or a private hospital, because it's increasing continuously. That is also the patients. The public like look at the doctors and also other professionals in that set of mind. Like slightest mishap or slightest mistake someone does, they might try to put the blame on the doctor or the nurse or the other. Was the case maybe 10 years ago. You do some mistake, one thing the patient, they don't know about the health care standards, and also they think, okay, that was the mistake or that is usually what had to be done by any doctor, right? So all these things has given rise to increased number of medical legal issues and also patients seeking compensation from the system. And these few factors also contributing to the increased number of medical legal cases or the cases, compensation cases. One thing is patients, they can benefit from the law because now the law is more patient-centric. They consider patient aspect more than the health profession or institution aspect. Then they have more access to information, and also they are very likely to be more cost conscious. Right? Even getting to a private hospital, not first day by the second day, someone might come and say, what's the bill and what is the daily cost. So they have to consider a lot of factors, especially when they are getting into a private system and decide whether they can enroll it or not. Or you might have a situation where the patient being in the ICU on the ventilator and dies, and private hospital not releasing the body until the well-being is set. Right? I don't know. Two sides of it. Right? Being a private hospital, they will survive on the income. So it's a income generally they had to charge. So that's on that aspect, they can't release a patient or body till the bill is settled. And because if you release, you never know whether they come back and pay. On the other hand, the patient relatives argue that now this person is dead, and now they have to do it. And I think it's unfair. There's two sides. Right? So these things will come. So they usually the patients are more cost conscious, and also on the other hand, the hospital also has to let them know about the general cost per day and let them decide whether they can go on with the treatment or the management given by the patient and the hospital. Then there may be increased number of foreigners seeking treatment. So when a foreigner comes into our system, maybe their expectations are different because they are used to their country system in their country. Right? So they expect more, usually, because most of the tourists are coming from European countries which are more developed and have more facilities, so their expected standard is high. Right? So we have, on the other hand, the, the doctors or nurses or health professionals, they are faced with the uncertainty of law. Sometimes law is changing, so law is very rigid, right? And you might go into quite defensive practice rather than doing what is necessary, essential, or basic. They, the main task is not to do uh, not to do anything that will give rise to a legal issue. Uh, then maybe feeling over-regulated because there are increased number of litigation cases, other complaints, and other laws, and also sometimes they may not be fit to deal with the recent demand, like the hospital in the periphery might not have all the facilities available. Not have all the facilities available at the national hospital. So even the doctors are qualified, experienced enough, but they don't have a way of giving the accepted method of treatment or management because there are no facilities. Right? So especially this one can give rise to problem to the institution as well. Right? When a litigation case comes up, doctor or health professional who are being charged might come up with a defense saying that I was asking for this facility for so long from the institution, but I was not provided. Right? So the court might ask the owner or the executive manager or whoever who is in charge of the hospital that they should come and give evidence in the court and why this facility was not provided to this doctor or the hospital. Right? So all these things complicate matters and drives to more litigation cases. Now I will just deal about these five. These are the uh, five basic things which give rise to legal issues in the medical hospital practice, and even might even except the first one. All the other four can be even applied to or involved with the other institution as well. First one is inquest, professional secrecy, professional risk. I will tell you the meaning of this, ethics and consent. First, something about the inquest. Inquest is an inquiry procedure with regard to death of a person. So, in our law, the Code of Criminal Code Procedure Act, sections, there are about 4 sections, and about 1.5 or maximum 2 pages, 2 A3 size A5 size papers citing the law which regulates the inquest procedure. Inquest is the inquiry into death of a person, right? And it prescribes the situation, the criteria that where you have to ask for inquest. And when it happens in a hospital, usually it has to go through the head of the institution. Okay? So it's a duty of the head of the institution to request the inquest. But it usually never happens that way, because you take the national hospital, the director has to write all these requests. Right? That will be about 60 words. A lot of depth. Right? It's not practical. They have to get involved in all this, and so usually what happen is happen in the government sector is the whoever the doctor in charge of the board, maybe the most junior one or even the specialist, right? Inform. There are 3 people that you have to inform. One is the inquirer who is going to be conducting the inquest, police who will handle the investigation, and the institutional head. So actually speaking, institutional head is the one who has to inform the coroner and the police. But what you usually do is the doctor who's working in the board writes to the police and the inquirer, and also inform the director to authorize it. Right? So authorization of the procedure can be even done later. Right? So police is also adjusted to this system, so when informed by the board, they consider that it is coming from the institution, so they will attend to the investigating party and get it done. So even a private hospital, that is the system of private hospital, of course, can fit into the correct system, like say inform the institution without director and write to the police and the coroner through the director, because there will be less number of cases. But even fitting into using the system in the government hospital is okay, because when you ward doctor informing the police with regard to a death, they will attend. Right? And also now, I told you that in regard to legal cases, that sometimes police refuse to take action or issue some legal documents if necessary to go ahead with the investigation, saying that these are private hospitals, so that it doesn't warrant police to take action with regard to patients in private hospital. But we are informed about the death, which needs inquest, then again, right? So they can't have a dual standard. They can do attend only to the medical legal needs related case with the issues related to a death, but not a live patient. You are handling death, case of death in a private sector, then you have to handle clinical case as well. You can't have double standards. Right, back to inquest now. This has come from the British. Obviously, through the during the time they ruled our country, was according to their law, or after, even after they had death, we have taken most of our law from the British, which is usually Roman Dutch law. So, those days back, a few centuries back, there's a person in England, person appointed by the king to collect taxes for the king, right? So, he was acting for the crowd. So he was generally called as crowder. Goes and collect taxes, taxes from people for the right. So when the system changed, the democracy came, and now the king and the families, they are still existing, but they are not involved in the administration. The administration is separate. So then when this system changed, now these people didn't have anything to do. But now they no longer required to collect taxes. So they have to be entrusted with some other thing. So what the government did was to investigate about debts. Right? So that's how the designation coroner came. Coroner was changed to coroner. Right? Even the coroner means you are acting for the crowd or the head of the country. Right? So they were entrusted to investigate debt. But in England, of course, to be a coroner, you have to be either a lawyer or a doctor with 5 years experience. We have adapted it, but not everything. We have taken the not exactly the word coroner, the position of the coroner, position, and this person is now appointed by the Ministry of Justice. The correct designation is inquiry into certain debts. Coroner, but it's popularly known as coroner because they are more popular. But in our setup, the correct designation is inquiry into certain debts or IST, right? To investigate into debts. So I told you that in England, it is usually a doctor who has, or doctor or a lawyer who has 5 years experience. But in our setup, I think the education qualification is grade 8. You have to be a citizen. You have to be a resident in that particular area, and you have to be free of any criminal charges. To fulfill those three criteria, you can apply for a inquiry into certain post. And if you can influence, you won't. Right? So therefore our inquirers, most I think maybe 99% does not have a professional qualification. Some people are just they pass, but then they don't understand if they are paid up what the causes of it and certain types of it. Right? Only usually Colombo, usually we have 2 lawyers appointed. Throughout practice, it is Colombo is covered by 2 lawyers. Right? So they are someone that law qualified. They know at least about the law. Right? Most of the foreigners they don't know either medicine or law. Cool. Right? So our system, they have taken it from the British but changed. Right? So the coroner system we have obtained from the British, and correct term is inquiry into certain debts appointed by the Ministry of Justice. and maybe a lawyer, doctor, or any respected member of the society. So, definition of this respected member depends on uh, how influential you are, and should be free of criminal record. And they have a specific area of jurisdiction, like say Colombo South, they have a jurisdiction area. They cannot deal with this happening outside their jurisdiction area. So this is the system we are having, and usually some have their own offices like in Colombo. Some base their office in the hospital, right? Because usually uh, most of the deaths are hospital deaths, right? And sometimes even after office hours they can operate from their residence. So any deaths occurring after hours, say after 4 5, the police go to his or her residence and everything is done. Now, in some instances, defined by law, only the magistrate can handle or investigate into it. Right. So the main why do you inquire into death? Because some cases we have to find the answers to these four questions. Who is he or she, or identify person. Then the place, sometimes you have to determine the place of death, and sometimes the time of death, and sometimes or most of the time how this happened. So investigate, the purpose of investigating is to find answers to all these four questions. Sometimes the first, second, and third you are not worried about, because if like the patient dies in the hospital, identified by someone, so identification is known, place of death known, time of death known. So you don't have to address this. But cause and the manner, like the cause is what resulted in death, manner or circumstance means what is the reason behind the medical changes that occurred in the patient. Right? So usually this is the most important one that you have to address in the case of inquest. Right? So if the inquirer does not have any reliable documents or documentation or evidence to decide about the cause of death, they will ask for a postmortem from the division medical officer. So we will do the postmortem, determine the cause of death, and let the inquirer know about the cause of death, then we will finish the inquiry. In some ward deaths, there are various instances that you don't know the exact cause of death, but ward doctors have some idea about the possible cause, possible or probable cause of death, especially when it does not related or follows any traumatic event like an accident or assault. Those things are excluded. And the doctors know that this is a natural death, but the only thing is you don't know the exact cause of death. But depending on the investigation available information, they can give a probable cause of death. So inquiry will go through the records, take evidence, and see whether this probable cause of death could be accepted. If be accepted, we will finish the case, issue the death certificate. If not, we will ask for a postmortem. Right. So this is how he died, and by what means and in what circumstances. Right. So these are the statutory law which covers the inquest procedure. Criminal Code of Criminal Procedure Act number 15 of 1979, section 369 to 373. I'm not going to relate what it is. I will copy my other presentation. Right, so you can have a copy of it here. Has the all more details. Right, So you can, if you want, you can go through, but you don't. I don't think that you have to know about this thing. But if you have an idea that it's governed by Code of Criminal Procedure Act, and this is what is meant by inquest, and this is how instances inquest are carried out, then it's more than enough. Now, these are the instances where you have to ask for inquest as prescribed by law. I have expanded it. The law says when the cause of death is not known. Right? So whether it is involved patient, whatever, when the doctor cannot give a cause of death, they have to ask for it. And it says all unnatural deaths. And so when you say unnatural, you can include various things which I have broken down or divided into section. Now, homicide, killing by another person, then because it's unnatural. Then all forms of suicides. Then all accidents, poisoning, and even death during surgery and anesthesia in hospital. All considered unnatural. And the administration that I told you that cause of death is unknown, you have to ask for inquest. There may be a situation where the cause of death is known but due to unnatural causes. Then again you can't release the body. You have to ask for inquest. To release the body from the body without asking for inquest, a doctor will be in trouble. Right? So these are few of the unnatural reasons. Then recently, 2013, the Minister of Justice and Health and all maternal deaths. For example, my mother died during pregnancy, we investigate them, post-mortem is mandated. Then deaths following abortions, deaths following animal attack, snake bite, rabies, tetanus should come somewhere. Tetanus can come following animal attack or even accident, right? Now, they have to complete another. When you take rabies, right? The person comes with features of rabies and you diagnose rabies. So you know that it is not curable. Sometimes you send the patient home, but you can't. You have to know that if the patient, maybe a big body or patient dies in the hospital, the whole thing, like first to last thing from the technician appears natural because there are no allegation of any accident or any SO. That type of but rabies, since it followed animal life, right? So it falls under the classification of unnatural death. Right? So you have to ask for it. Asking for inquest does not mean that post-mortem will be done. Depends on the release of the case. Right? So if you know that this is diagnosed rabies, then invariably we accept that cause of death and release the body. Then all cases of drowning, fall from height, other types of violent death, and even deaths following alleged starvation and neglect, we have to ask for inquest because all these are considered as unnatural. So then it's easy to remember when the cause of death is not known whether it is natural or not. Even if it is natural, you ask for a inquest. Like if you can categorize it under unnatural death, even if you know the cause of death, you have to ask for inquest. And then there are instances where it's occurring at home or person is pronounced dead on the admission to hospital. So at home, if a doctor can give a probable cause of death, who has seen or treated the patient within 14 days of death, before death, the coroner might consider. But I don't know how it has come. There are certain 3 ways of getting a body release following a death at home. One thing is more logical, more legal one is to inform the police, get the inquest done, release the body. But there's a way of informing through the grammar seal. And there's a form filled by grammar seal. But we usually ask for a letter from a doctor who has treated or seen the patient within 48 days. If the doctor says, I have seen and this is the likely cause of death, we will consider it that fill the form, then they can go to the registrar person and get the registration done in the release. And there is excellent, even you can bypass the grammar circle with a letter from doctor certifying it and giving the possible cause of death. They go to the registrar with the release. Right? But both of them, grammar circle and registrar, both will ask for a letter from a doctor who has treated or seen the patient within 14 days, giving the cause of death. Without that, they will not register. Okay. So, these options are available for death happens at home. There may be instances where patient is pronounced dead on admission. So then what happens, even if patient has a severe underlying disease which can kill the patient at any time, just because there's no medical person has attended the time of death, you are not sure about the person. Patient with a terminal stage of cancer might die of something else. Natural death like heart attack, or he might have even ingested some poison. Right? So just because you are not sure about the cause of death, because you have not seen the patient at the time of the death, even a terminally ill, but the patient with a diagnosed serious condition, you still ask for an inquest. And in the most hospitals, both in the government and private sector, there is a misconception. They say that if the patient dies within 24 hours of admission, then we have to ask for an inquest. But then in law, there's nothing like that. Law says when the cause of death is unknown or when this is due to unnatural event. What happens usually is within 24 hours, investigations are not completed. You don't know the exact cause of death, so therefore you ask. For your safety, sometimes you ask for inquest. Okay. So this is the procedure which deals with death in the hospital. Right? So not only house officers or doctors involved in direct treatment, but even sometimes even the administrative officers, head of the institution might have been involved in this process. And in these cases, when all cases of homicide, deaths in custody, police custody or in armed forces, or even in prisons, detention camps, correction homes, rehabilitation centers, children homes, and in most cases of criminal nature, these are usually done, or only the magistrate can do the inquest. It's by law. It doesn't say the criminal negligence, but cases of homicide, all deaths in custody and deaths occurring in mental hospitals and mental hospitals. That inquiry is the magistrate of the area. The normal inquiry to submit it cannot happen. Right. I think that is enough about the inquest. Getting to these two, and the professional misconduct and professional secrecy is going hand in hand, and even ethics and consent is interrelated in connection to these two. Now, what is professional misconduct? In the medical concept, we talk about 6 A's, where a doctor or a nurse or a health practitioner can fall into trouble, alleged of professional misconduct, which can, patient can, police can take action, and even legal action, or else if there's a complaint, the legal counsel can inform and take action. The 6 A's are addiction, alcohol, adultery, association, abortion, and enterprise. Now, addiction is to any drug, right? Now, remember, just because you are addicted to drug, just because you are taking alcohol, won't fall in trouble. Only if these two affect your professional work. Professional work or professional behavior within the institution. Right? Yes. Government service. That, I mean, if you take alcohol, you are a bit drunk and go to work and do some good work, someone will take action because it's in regulation. Right? You cannot work by being, but just simply because you are addicted to drug or alcohol does not mean that someone else will take action. But what I am talking is addiction, alcohol involving your professional conduct or professional work in the hospital or the institution. So if you do something wrong after getting drugs or alcohol, you can be charged in that. Just because you had a party day that yesterday and had a drink, that does not mean that the institution or someone can make allegation. But if it was your professional conduct or the professional work. Adultery depends. And if any charge occurring within the institution, they will take action. Say if it is discharged out of your working place, of course, the person is alleged of adultery in his private capacity, not in the professional capacity. Right? But there may be that sometimes the institution or the medical or the regulatory body consider that because your professional image, your image is sometimes important for your professional work. Right? Like say, for example, a doctor who is alleged of some offense related to adultery by the police outside his working place, outside his working hours, still the medical council might consider that as a bad precedence and might take action. They'll hold an inquiry and take action. Definitely, if this happens to your professional practice, within your professional practice and institution, have direct consequence. Then, association in the health sector, or which in that regard, this what we think or consider is association with unprofessional bodies or people. Like, say, for example, you have a private practice, private clinic or something, with someone else who is a practice. Right? So, you are responsible for things done in that private practice because your association with someone, one professional who has a pet doesn't have a qualification in providing health service, but you are getting together and doing something health related. And so then they might consider you are associating with an unprofessional body and might even move out to criminal intelligence as well. Then committing or taking part in doing abortion. Sri Lanka, abortion could be done only to save the life of the mother. Anything else is illegal. And at the moment we are discussing to include more criteria where can get the baby aborted, but I don't think that they come through because there are two sides. And from the medical perspective, like there are a lot of inborn errors or malformations, genital abnormalities. which can be detected very early, at early stage of pregnancy. And if you let that baby born, he will be either mentally retarded, physically retarded, has no, causing lot of problems, right? So countries like India, England, they allow these babies to be aborted, but not according to our law. There are instances where women get pregnant following rape, right? So what happened is the child is an unwanted child most of the cases, and the one between the mother and child is affected. Most of cases, the lady who allowed the baby born, the baby get abused. And also now other social problems like the baby doesn't have a father, right? Might not be able to have a birth certificate, those things. Right? So India and other Western countries allow, so it's because legally around this is the babies are an act of sexual assault. Right? So they allow these pregnancy to be terminated. Congenital and all. And so certain other criteria as well, but mainly those two. So I think here also the discussion is going on to include these things, especially the congenital malformed babies and also the pregnancy resulting from the sexual assault. Allow the woman to get the abortion done if they are willing to, but I don't think that it will come through because there are a lot of opposition from religious groups. Right? So I early about a decade ago, also these discussions went on and on, but nothing happened. And this time also it will be the same. Right? So anyway, so you get involved in a case of abortion, either abetting or helping or doing, you will be considered under this. Right? Definitely, police will take action on a criminal charge, and the medical council will charge you under professional misconduct. And then the advertising. As doctors, health professionals, we are not allowed, not expected to advertise unnecessarily. Like even if you just put a name board in your private practice, uh, probably you might have seen something like you can put the name or you can have a name for the clinic, but doctor's name and the qualification has to be limited to certain size. Right? You can't have a small little some clinic and your name and your qualification in large letters. So that is considered as advertising. Even putting advertisement in papers or electronic public media, someone can charge for your under misconduct misconduct under this category. Right? Just because you advertise, you can advertise in a different way. I believe. For like educational purpose, general public, then you are allowed to use your name and qualification in even print and electronic media. If it is your own gain, your own, then there are limitations. So if you go out of that limitation, you could be charged, but definitely not by the police, because it's not a criminal offense, but under professional misconduct, medical council can or the regulating body can. Now these things even apply to other professions as well, right? Addiction, alcohol, therapy, associate not the abortion. Advertising, I don't think that, but mainly the first four could be applied to even the non-medical institutions as well. Now, if you get the picture of the medical perspective, malpractice cases. Now, this is this orange. 33% is of malpractices or suing is related to diagnosis. Related. That you are fail to diagnose or wrong diagnosis of illness. Then 24% involved in surgeries. Something wrong done in the surgery. 18 treatment. Right? So if you take 75% of the medical malpractice cases are related to diagnosis, surgery, and uh, treatment, and 11% related to pregnancy related abortions and related thing. Then medication related monitoring, these things are anesthesia for this is early or maybe about 12 to 15%. Right? You see that now this is diagnosis, surgery, treatment, and also the pregnancy related thing account for 86%. So that is the area that we have to be careful. But that does not mean that you can neglect this, because if you concentrate on this, you might get in trouble. If you are like a person managing the institution, usually you will fall in trouble or get involved in this, because you are not directly involved with this. Even if you are director of a private hospital, right? Diagnosis related, these things not applicable for the managerial level, but the monitoring related, medication related, other those things might apply, because they might say that you are not providing enough drugs, quality drugs, the equipment, then the not taking enough persons who work in hospital. So usually you will get involved in this 14%. If you take the professions, right? Now this is from 2004 to 2014. This is a US figures. We don't have this. About out of 596 cases, health institution, hospitals, uh, physicians or doctors, involvement is 182,000. And out of the 596 cases of medical malpractice cases, 182,000 is doctors, 270,000 are nurses. Right? So out of 596, 452 doctors and nurses. And but it does not include the others as well, dental, uh, physician associated, and other specialties, and even the managerial position. So that accounts to less number of cases, but that does not mean you are new. Just because you are in the administrative part of the institution, still someone might make allegations against you. Maybe not direct responsibility, but indirect. Right, and skip this because that is almost the same thing. Now, what is meant by negligence? The negligent act in the either in the health profession or in the other profession can give rise to this problem. The negligence is failure to do something that a reasonable person, guided by those ordinary consideration that ordinarily regulate human affairs, would do, or the doing of something a reasonable and a prudent person would not. Right? So there are two sides. Something that you are not doing, a thing that you should have done. Okay, because you usually compare the doctors now. So if it's a surgeon that there is some allegation about his surgery or something, patent or something, then what the court will look at this doctor. The thing the doctor has done is the usual thing, a normal thing that other surgeons haven't done. Right? So, or else maybe the other thing. He has done something that should not have been done, or has not done something that should have been. The acts of commission or omission. Like you have committed on doing something, or else you have omitted the normal practice. So in both ways, you can fall into trouble. But now in the health profession and the treatment, there are certain things that you have to be aware uh, about treating the patients uh, and taking decisions that you might get into trouble. So, not so professional malpractice, misconduct is in one area. Other one is this your negligent acts, whether you are doing something that should have been done or the other of commission and omission, and then that things related to ethics and consent. Okay? So all these three areas, as I told you, professional misconduct, malpractice, sorry, secrecy, malpractice, ethics, and consent are interwoven in the health practice. So any of you are doing something wrong related to any of these might amount to negligence, might result in either criminal or civil litigation. Now, when someone makes allegation about a negligent act, right? When if it goes to courts, the person who's making allegation has to prove these things. Right? So the onus of proving the case is on the person who's making the complaint. You have to just defend. One thing, so all these four has to be fulfilled. One thing is duty of care. Duty of care means that they have to establish that this particular doctor or nurse or any other professional has a professional duty or one between the two. Right? Say now if I'm in the charge of a ward, the patient comes to get admitted to the ward. Right? That one is established. Right? Sometimes there are complicated issues. Like there may be situation that the consultant who is in charge of the ward has not seen the patient. Uh, say patient dies within say few minutes after admission. Doctor might the person might not have even seen, but someone else has seen. So you have a bond because she has been admitted to your ward. But on the other hand, now it's natural that you have not had the opportunity to come and directly see the patient. So that's a different thing. But the duty of care is established. Then the next thing is they have to prove that you are negligently breached the duty. Right? So in that example, duty of care is established because patient has been admitted to your ward. But you have not breached the duty because there are certain procedures in the hospital. Now you have, though you are the consultant, you didn't have the time, opportunity to come and see the patient. Not, I mean, it's a different matter that the ward people have informed you and you have not come. It's a different. That means you have breached it. But they didn't have the time to inform the consultant, they didn't have the opportunity to come and see the patient, then you cannot establish this. Then say that to establish both 1 and 2, then you have to, not you have the person who's making allegation has to prove that this breach of duty caused something. Right? Or that's a causation and resulted in some damage to the patient. Right? So I'll give you an example. Like a patient say comes to the ward, admitted. Say having some infected wound in the leg and got the house of their seen and prescribed some drugs, injections. Right? And they will say patient taking the patient says I am allergic to penicillin. Right? They are worried down and now you prescribing drugs and the this patient even he said that he is allergic to penicillin. I don't think so. And I think that this is a giving some penicillin related drug is the best for the condition. So I don't think that there is anything allergy. The patient says so. We give some this injection. Right? So it's a given. Now this is established. You have a duty of care because it's using your body. You have been negligent because patient has told you that it's allergic, but you have not considered it as given medicine for penicillin related drug. And say patient get a reaction. Now the causation is also there. Right? Because of the penicillin related drug, patient got the reaction. But patient might survive without any damage. So just a reaction, give some treatment, and so right? Nothing. So can you prove anything with that? When we go to courts, court will say yes, okay. One is okay, two is okay. Third, yeah. Due to giving the drug, some reaction has taken place, but no damage. So why he should pay compensation? Right? So the charge of this is civil case. The person might not get anything because what he said is true. It's allergic to penicillin, given penicillin has some reaction, but nothing has happened. It's perfectly okay. So there's no need for compensation. But say patient died, then it's a different. Again, even the negligence may be even you want to be criminal negligence. You have done something, done a negligent act which results in a death, which is considered as a criminal offense. Right? So the person who is alleging make allegation has to prove all these things. So this is even applicable to any situation, like even a non-medical thing. You can say someone comes to say get some service from you and you agree, so the duty of care is established. If you've done something which shouldn't have been done, act of commission or omission, then the breach is also established. So it has said started in something, but the person doesn't have get any damage or harm out of it. Right? It's difficult for me to give an example. I'm not aware about it, but if nothing happened. So when I said non-health, we are talking about the monetary financial things. Say you advise with regard to some fixed deposit or something, you advise or you take the responsibility to put money somewhere in his name and something happens, but the institution, but that person did not suffer any financial loss. Then again, this part is absent. Right? So therefore, even if he goes to courts, court will say, okay, right, he did this, but you have not lost anything. Right? So therefore, you can't compensate because that's what you get. Right? So the basis is the same for everything. And other things, the same case, usually criminal case, might have two aspects. Criminal aspect or civil and civil. And I told you that criminal aspect is looked after by the police. Because it goes in a different. The things related to the criminal offense or criminal act, you might even can pay civil action. I don't know whether you have heard about this famous case in America related to their football players, not soccer, American football, O.J. Simpson. He he killed his ex-wife and ex-wife boyfriend. Right? So there were criminal charges against him. Right? Who goes to the courts, right? Even here, when there's a charge of murder, the prosecution, that is the government who is prosecuting, has to prove the case beyond any reasonable doubt. Otherwise, you won't be convicted. So the only thing defense has to do is to create a reasonable doubt. So when was prosecuted, criminal case, he was acquitted because the prosecution couldn't prove the case beyond any reasonable doubt. But on the other hand, I think the parents of this woman sued citizen for compensation on civil. When it goes a civil case, you make the judgment on the balance of probability. To ascertain that the possibility of this person doing a wrongful act is 50.5%, then you are convicted. Right? So the offense was the same, but on criminal grounds, he was acquitted because they couldn't prove the case beyond any reasonable doubt. But on the civil case, they were able to prove the case on the balance of probability. So they were awarded so many millions of dollars. Right? So same case might have different aspects. Right? Now that is one. Now even when you are a doctor or someone is being charged of criminal offense, then whatever the regulatory body of that profession, medical council for doctors or any other regulatory bodies for other professions can take their actions. Right? Now, no one has to even complain and say, I am convicted of some criminal offense, then medical council on their own can take action, have an inquiry and say, we are going to erase your name from the list. Because we are being convicted of a criminal offense, according to our regulation, we can't allow such person to practice. So that might be applicable to various other regulatory bodies as well. And the other hand, now, like this, she said he has went to the court for some labor case, no? You said you went to the family court. We to courts with regard to some labor issue. What was it? Now this these things are not these they can complain to their two options. Right? Regarding your duty and other things complaining, you can make a charge, make a complaint to the labor tribunal. Right? It's also like a court. Right? You can have your own lawyers. The labor tribunal will take up the case and decide whether to pay compensation or not. Right? But you can, rather than going making a complaint to labor tribunal, you can file a case in the district court as well. Right? But now say if the person make a complaint or file a case at the civil courts. Civil courts hears the case and give a decision. Say now person is asking for compensation. Say 5 million rupees. Right? You go to file a case on the civil district court and district judge decide no, not 5 million. 2 million is enough. Now you can't go back to labor tribunal and say, I was asking for 5 million, I got only 2 million, no, I may have made another complaint here to take it up. Labor tribunal will say no, because you have gone to the courts. Court is superior to the labor tribunal. This is what court has decided. So if you want to make an appeal, you have to go to the appeal courts and Supreme Court, not back to the labor. But if you go to the labor tribunal first and you ask for compensation, you are expecting 5 million, labor tribunal says no, 2 million. You can sometimes you can take that with a saying affidavit, saying that this is not enough, and you can file a case against that decision in this view. Right? But you can't take that money. If you accept this money, that means that you have agreed for that. So say labor tribunal about 2 million, so no, I'm not satisfied 2 million, I'm going to civil courts. Right? So you can do that. And a chance, civil court might say, no, not 2 million, 1 million is. You have to be satisfied with 1 million, now go about to the appeal courts and Supreme Court. Right? So this court is always superior. So you can't go to the labor tribunal against the decision given by the district court. If you want, it's the higher court, appeal and supreme. Right? So these things could happen in the given non-medical institutions and non-medical practice as well. It's always that we do something wrong. It's better to tell the truth to the patient or the client, right? But not like this. Right? This what say there is some medical mistake. Doctor is coming here. What happened was the nurse and I were shooting each other with the guns in the operating room when I hit and with your grandfather's maybe some blood vessel or something like doing some surgery or doing something playing around. So this is a totally criminal act. This is not even criminal negligence, right? So we say that you have it's always better to tell the truth to the patient, but not the whole truth. You have to. I mean, sometimes what happens is it's not a actually something wrong, intentional wrong, but it may be a mishap in treatment or something. Right? So you don't have to tell everything. You have to tell it what is necessary for the person to take a decision. Right? The same for other professions as well. Right? You don't have to tell them, no, word what happened. But just telling somebody about what happened. Right? If you try to do this, you will be always in trouble. So remember that. Don't. Now, this is another case of medical negligence. Right? So I took it from the internet. Right? What recently happened? And a patient is subject to surgery. Right? To do some surgery. In the ward for 4 or 5 days. Discharge. Symptoms are and patient coming back. Abdominal pain, say 2-3 weeks later. Right? So after this investigation, I will take an X-ray. Right? So this is what X-ray shows. Now, there is no doubt about the negligent, right? Because this scissor come to the abdominal cavity, that was one way. Someone has put it. The only possibility is that the surgery was performed say 2 weeks ago. They have missed it. Right? They have left it not removed. Right? So therefore, this is we have the Latin term called res ipsa loquitur. That is, the things speak for us. Right? You don't have to do the patient doesn't have to do anything. Only a matter of showing the X-ray. And he doesn't have to prove anything. He doesn't have to call any witnesses. Right? And even the doctors are called, they don't have a, they will come out with various excuses, but about the act, there's no question. But there's no other way that the physician could have come into the head. Right? So these things speaks for itself. Right? So like if you do something like this, even the medical or non-medical practice, you will be troubled because it's very easy to prove. Right? What we say goes to courts, people will have various issues. Doctor might say, no, I asked them because it's a duty of the assisting nurse to remove the instruments and count it. I asked her, she said, everything is okay, but nurse might say something. But if you, I mean, say, anyway, it's the duty of the in charge doctor who's chief surgeon then doing that surgery to check on all these things, right? So you might have a thing called corporate negligence, and you are not only you are responsible, someone else helping you is also held responsible. So in this act, both the doctor and nurse will be responsible. Doctor may be more responsible. Because though the nurse is assisting, its doctors need to check everything. Because he knows how many clamps, how many things that he used. Right? On the other hand, nurse has to count everything. Alone. So on the other part, nurse also has to check everything. And there are instances that even the institution is held responsible. Like not providing proper instruments and other things, right? So this the corporate negligence is a way of getting your liabilities reduced. But you cannot totally hand over the responsibility to someone other party. Like say, Ford decides this patient get 5 million for compensation, but the doctor has to pay 2.5, the nurse has to pay 1, the balance by the institution. Otherwise, what happens is if you are the only person responsible, all 5 million you have to pay. Right? So these things comes like they are managing institution and one of your employee who is in charge of the negligent act might try to hold the institution also responsible. And so you need to be aware about though it is related, whether it is related to health practice or not, these things can come up in a different way. Right. The other area I want to touch is on about the thing called consent. Right? Now you know that even to do something, sometimes you have to sign agreements with us so that you are informed about these things, the consequences what could happen, and what are the actions taken by. Right? So there's an agreement between you and the other party. Even if you take a loan from the bank, you have to sign this agreement for that agreement for like most of the time what will happen is in large paper you don't read it. You consider it to be right. Okay, you sign it. And only later you find that there is a clause saying that this happen you cannot claim compensation to. Right? So we have signed but without reading. Right? So don't sign anything without reading it. Of course, the same procedure is involved in medicine as well. The thing called consent. Doing anything to the patient. Treatment, investigation, and tell the patient. Without telling the patient, you cannot do. But there are various categories of consent. Like, say, a person who is running a private practice, right? There is in the private practice, patient comes in and say, Doctor, I have this problem, right? Now it is known that he has come to take treatment from you. So you ask to prescribe. Now, you can't later say, I didn't ask him to prescribe this drug, because that is implied. Because your board is outside, saying the clinic, you are practicing hours given. The patient comes in seeking treatment. So you don't have to ask the patient whether you want to take treatment from me. It is implied, right? Same happens if the patient comes and gets admitted to the hospital. They come to emergency service and they admit, and later the patient cannot say that I didn't expect them to admit because he has come to the system. So the doctors in the emergency system take it as implied personal patient has come because he wants to get treatment. The way, whether it could be OPD treatment or the inward treatment decided by the doctors, right? So it has to be, so they are, anyway, all these consent has to be mutual between the two parties and active, right? They know what's happening by that getting the consent, and also you have to respect the boundaries. There are limitations. Just because patient came into your clinic or get admitted to hospital, you can't do invasive procedures without telling the patient. Say, patient comes to a surgical ward, can't do the surgery without telling the patient and getting a specific consent. You might draw blood without getting his signal because it's a part of routine investigation. So there are certain limits and boundaries. So I have to respect that, and whatever the things done, consent taken, it has to be comfortable for both parties. And you can't stress on a patient, right, making the things get worse and then take the consent without his full knowledge. And also, it has to be retractable. It can be retractable. Like you consent for something today, and patient next day comes in, no, I don't want to go ahead. Doctor has no right to say, no, you just, because you said yes yesterday, now you can't change, you have to go. Consent can be withdrawn at any time. Now this, say that this kidney donor transplanting, donor is giving it willingly. According to our law, he cannot take any monetary compensation from the recipient. So it's his will, right? So he has to sign a consent form. But signing the consent form today, if you are willing to donate the kidney, it's not permanent. Maybe 2 weeks after, just before the surgery, just before the day before the surgery, donor might say, no, I don't think that I will do it. I want to withdraw my consent. You can, right? That's, no one can go to court and say, no, this patient now for the past 2 weeks was consenting and willing, now he is requesting you can't do it. No. Because it's the decision by that person, his right. Right? So we have to consider his autonomy, his human rights. So the consent can be withdrawn at any time. Then checking. Checking in the sense you have, when you are getting consent for certain acts, you have to check whether you have informed all the necessary things to the patient. And importantly, it is willingly given by the person concerned. Right? So we have to stick into, have to be within this things if you want to get a valid consent. Now, according to our law, any person below 18 years of age is considered as a minor, and whatever the consent given by that person is not valid. So therefore, if a person below 18, either it has to be his or her parents or the guardian. Now, there may be instances where the person's age is over 18, but he's mentally subnormal. Then you have to get an assessment from a psychiatrist about his mental age. It's a psychiatrist says, though this patient is actually 20 years, his mental age is 60, again the consent is not valid. On the other hand, there are instances where you have some freedom to decide for the best interest of the patient. like a person coming into the emergency unit, say following injury, head injury, is unconscious, and doctors want to do some emergency surgery. Now unfortunately, there's no one to get the consent from, no relations, police doesn't know who he is, right? So then, at the best interest of the patient to save or to save life, the patient you can do so, and you document that there's no one to take this consent, but the surgery is essential to for the treatment purposes for this patient. So therefore, and in hospital you have another way that the hospital director or the head of the institution giving the consent on behalf of the patient. Um, because legally, the patient doesn't have any other relations or guardian. The head of the institution is considered as the guardian of the patient. So that what the doctors can do is they can write to the director and say, now this procedure is necessary. No one has no legal guardian. So therefore, this the head of the institution will give the consent. Right? There are these exemptions from the normal ruling, but this is consent is like say the French fries. It's freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific. If you have to do something, you have to get a specific consent. Like just because you come to a surgical ward and write in the ticket that you agree for surgery does not mean that you can go in any type of the surgery. If you are doing a major surgery, then again you have to tell the patient about the procedure, why it is being done, how, what are the other possible method of treatment available. So you have to give all the information and then take it freely from the patient. So as I told you, there are three types of consent. Implied, like the patient indicates a willingness by his or her behavior, and it's only limited to clinical examination, consultation, and that. You can't go beyond that. In the verbal consent, like to tell him and verbally he or she says, okay, you go away. Like verbal consent is acceptable when procedures are limited to treatment for the problem presented by the patient. It is necessary for a witness to be present during the explanation and the giving of the consent. Like to draw blood, say okay. For this purpose, you want to draw blood. Is it okay? Patient says okay, you can go. You don't have to take this. But what is best is inform written consent. And you inform about everything, patient gives it in writing. Written consent is consent for treatment signed by the patient or the legal guardian and duly countersigned by a witness. And if you go for some specific diagnosis, investigation, or surgery, you have to take the informed written consent. And other thing is you have to take it from the proper patient. The patient is an adult, mentally normal, rational and conscious. It's always has to be given by the patient. No one else. The patient is incapacitated, then next of kin can give the best. Not reason, last years back was a case. I told this patient was admitted to a private hospital. It's around 65, has Parkinson's. Diagnosed some problem in the some arteries in the heart. They want to do an angiography and do a bypass. And patient said, no, I don't want to go ahead with angiogram. I just want to be like this. Right? So then one day, about 2 days later, when the wife came in the evening, nurses in the hall said, okay, I have to sign, get the signature. Right? She signed for something. This for surgery, and they went ahead with angiogram, and patient had patient did not recover. Patient had some cerebrovascular accident or something, and he did not recover. He was unconscious or nearly was unconscious. He was kept in the hospital for nearly 1 month, and they had to pay a massive bill. Then he was discharged. He went home. Was like a vegetable for 3 more months and died of pneumonia or something. Right? So I did the post-mortem. So I have given whereas pneumonia due to prolonged debility or prolonged paralysis due to this thing. So after everything, then the wife asked after what is the procedure now? Who has to sign up for the surgery? I didn't tell her until that time. I didn't tell her anything, but she asked. The patient was still at he has Parkinson, but he was mentally normal. See, they have taken from medicine from him, not wife. If he is incapacitated and cannot give consent, that's a different thing. But if he is conscious, rational, okay, it has to be his right to decide whether to go ahead with the surgery or not. I don't know. Probably no one knew about the law, and they took while the patient being okay, consent from the wife, and we go ahead with the surgery and he didn't recover. I don't know what happened to that case. One day it might come up. No, but as now even the bond relations can take legal action. But the consent is not properly taken, right? So remember that all the time, if the person concerned is an adult and is mentally capable, is his or her right to give the consent, not anyone else. But it's different in other cases, like the paid person being on a ventilator, and the doctor said he cannot be, he won't survive or cannot be survived. Then the next of kin, if he married, husband or wife, or the children, or no one is there, then parents can give consent for everything. Right? So out of this is the most legal and proper way, but practically you can't do it always. So most cases, some cases is effect, some cases is verbal. But if you are going for this written informed consent, so it's a person's agreement to allow something to happen that is based on full disclosure of facts and need to make a decision independently. And express consent is where patient express his willingness to go ahead. Implied consent I have already told you, and in the informed written consent, it's always better to have a form. Most private hospitals have a consent form, which includes authorization clause, like what your authorization for, who is, then the disclosure clause where the hospital or the doctor disclose all the facts to the patient, which is written there. Then the anesthesia, if you have got to anesthetize, then the anesthetist will tell what type of anesthesia given, the pros and cons of it. Then again, they put a no guarantee clause for the anesthetic procedure and inform the patient that this is not 100% guarantee to cure the problem. But there are instances where whatever you do, there's no 100% recovery. Right? So in some cases, you have to consider that aspect. Then the tissue disposal. If you remove any tissue samples, like tissue parts or any investigation, again you have to tell them what I'm going to do with the rest of the tissues after all the investigation. Then and then you put a patient understanding clause, like patient says, I was told by so and so, I was informed by so and so, all the details about this first, knowing that I am giving consent, and then you have the signature. Patient and a whether you can have a witness as well. So if you have this form filled and signed, and you do your things within the acts were taken permission for, even if they go to court, state that I have not told, just a matter of showing this document to the courts. Because everything is mentioned and the patient has signed underneath saying that after reading what is mentioned in this consent form, after I was exposed to all the facts, with the legal thing I am agreeing for this. You have done it, patient cannot charge for not being informed. So, as I told you, the legal exception in emergencies, minors, and even mental income. So, this is your doing at the best interest of the patient. And you can't do anything, you have to do relevant things to save the life of the patient or kill the patient. Something about professional secrecy, which is applied to other profession as well. Anything, any information that you have obtained from your patient or a client on the professional relationship, you cannot reveal it to anyone else without the permission of the patient or the client. Right? Nothing. So therefore you have to, you is obliged to keep secret all that comes to know in the professional work. Trust, maintain trust and confidence, and we have to establish and maintain the physician-patient relationship. And if you don't abide by these, you can be charged for breach of confidence and quite amount of professional misconduct and even action by the regulating body. But there are certain instances that you can reveal. One thing is if it is mentioned by law. Now we have this communicable diseases. From the statutory, you are supposed to inform, like say typhoid and other communicable diseases. You have to inform for, because the authority has to take remedial action to prevent the spread of the disease and also look after the other people in the community. So you are bound. Now, patient, you come with typhoid, patient can't say no, doctor, you can't inform this way. No. Go the EOC object, it is your duty by law to inform that necessary. So it is, so if it is prescribed by the law that you have to do, provide information on this, then you are not reaching the duty. Then you can reach the duty or reach the confidence in the best interest of the general public. You are doing it for the interest of the public. Like I have two stories that I read for internal. One is the person who had a sexually transmitted disease, was taking treatment from a particular doctor, and he said, okay, now, okay, I will treat you, I will not tell anyone, but you have condition. You, until you are cured, you can't have sex with your wife. You can't go to any public pool. Right? You have to provide. So certain conditions are imposed. Is it okay? Right? So he was treating, and fortunately or unfortunately, the doctor was treating this patient, and to a public place had a swim, public pool, and now this is so as he entered, he saw a patient in the pool, right? But he straight away went to the curator, so and so is having this. The government picked him out. So he was thrown out, and he filed a case against the doctor for breaching the confidence, telling the curator that this person has this disease. So case was taken up, when he went to court, he said, no, doctor has not done anything wrong, because he has acted the interest of the rest general public. So he has done the correct thing. So there's no breach of duty or confidence. Another incident where I got here, the train drivers, they were requested to get the medical checkup every year. And just thing that we don't know how he was initially employed, and during the medical checkup, doctor found him to be colorblind. You know what is meant by colorblind? Colorblind means he cannot see red and green. He sees colors but different. Doesn't see red and green. Right? That means he sees only yellow, blue. Right? So practically, when regard to signals, he can't see whether difference between the both red, yellow, and green. Because red is a pure color, so you can't see it. Yellow is mix of blue, green, and green and red, so you can't see. Green again you can't see. So he was informed, he was removed from his position and to another category, and he filed a case saying that he lost the job for yourself because the doctor believed this to the institution. But again, the court decided no, that it is the interest of the general public that the doctor has said that really is because he is not suitable to drive a plane because this could happen if accident happens in most of the people. Right? So there are certain instances where the interest of the best interest of the general public or many people with regard to one individual that you can reveal the right? But when you are revealing, it has to be in such a way that you release only the necessary information for that particular action. Right? You can't create other unnecessary confidential things that you have come to know during your professional relations. So that is one way. Other one is you can reveal the findings to another doctor to get his or her opinion. Right? But again, you have to do it carefully. The purpose is to get the third opinion, then you don't have to reveal the name. It just another person contact the information of the patient. You can just say whether it is name, age, complaint, and the other one will provide his or her opinion. This is what treatment purpose. So there are different occasions, several occasions you can reveal the confidential information, and also by us code someone should ask for some details and release no option. Even the patient can object, but we have to release, otherwise we will be content of court rather than anything else. So when you're talking about care, we have to consider about the standard of care, where the service we have you provide should be addressed with the best, the care or the service provided by the similar professional, similar institution, a similar capacity. Then this is breach of duty means where you breach your duty and do something out of it which harms the patient or the client. As I told you, the causation. Now, for negligence, it has to result in causing something and cause a visible damage. So, coming back to this, someone wants to claim for compensation and sue, they have to prove all these four facts. Without that, it won't happen. And in the medical practice, misdiagnosis, failure to timely diagnose, surgical error, failure to follow up with treatment, failure to treat in a timely manner, anesthesia errors, medication or prescription errors, all can could lead to negligence or professional misconduct. And sometimes you are not intended to do anything wrong, but something happens. Total event, as a patient, admitted young patient, in sense is mid-20s, admitted following a road traffic accident, had a fracture of some bone lower leg. And the bone also, so they didn't, it needs some internal fixation to wire up. Initially they didn't do because there's a bone was contaminated, they are keeping the bone. And so it was somewhere in mid-September this happened, 2015. So it was in the ward for about 10 days, but the wound was infected. He was given augmentin, and they were penicillin, IV, intravenously. He didn't have any history of allergy. He said, no, I'm not allergic to anything. It was fine. So after about 10 days, after giving augmentin, the house officer noted reddish rash. And after he diagnosed this to be an augmentin allergy. He omitted the augmentin. And rash disappeared, so he was okay. So after a week, he was taken to the accident happened in September, mid-October. So this happened towards the end of October, then he was in the ward for November as well because he has certain other problems. So somewhere mid-November he was taken into theatre for fixation. And anesthetists, they need to give some IV drugs. Anesthetist went through and she said, this can't be augmented. Because he has been augmented for 10 days and he doesn't give previous allergy, so it can't be augmented. So, as a pre-medication before surgery, you are shot for in the theatre, right? You must see the theatre just before the surgery, shot of antibiotic. So, give it and as gave and augmenting within 10 minutes, he developed a severe rash and almost collapsed. So, luckily, everyone was there in the theatre. He was resuscitated, was fine, right? Recovered. So now the augmented energy was established, right? You know that usually when you have allergy, first one will be something very less, minor thing. Second one will be more. Third one will be more. Right? So now in the PhD was written the drug chart, allergic to penicillin, and the augmentin removed or cut off. Right? So after 2 weeks, that was November 3rd December. November 30th, he was taken to the theatre. He was done without anesthetizing or something. It's done, and following day, the nurses are doing the work on giving drugs. There's a habit. Now there are surgical, casual, surgical, there are a lot of people on IV drugs. So what they do is, they have a rough idea about the requirement, right? How many getting augmenting. So what they do is they take cylinders, draw the drug, keep on the drug body, and it's augmenting here, and this here, and here. Nobody goes to the two go, and one read the drug chart, and the one just give his tablet as the other one person read. So now this particularly same thing was happening. So the nurse who took the trigger start reading the drugs. This thing as well as augmenting 500 IV. But he read the list. At the end of it, she realized that no, this is augmenting allergy. Said no, no augmenting. Unfortunately, now this is withdrawn by that time. The other nurse has already given the right. So there's evidence to say that that nurse who gave the augmentin did not have time to take the syringe. Patient just collapsed for the third time, and only the ward has two sections belonging to two doctors. There's a doctor available from the other side. He came running and started resuscitating. He didn't know what happened. Unfortunately, the two nurses didn't also tell the doctor what happened. Right? So they were with that, and only about 10 minutes later, one said, you might mistake the doctor. So then he gave some hydrocodone of the necessary drugs, but that was about 15 minutes. Was severe brain damage, patient did not recover. Right? He was paralyzed like a vegetable for 3 months and died of pneumonia 3 months later. Right? So I did the postmortem, so there's no problem about the cause of it. It was a pneumonia due to long bedridden status. But only thing is, I don't know, about 3 months later, there's no way of detecting what was given at the time of incident. Right? What you doing? So I gave the cause of death as pneumonia due to prolonged paralytic state or something due to an acute event occurring during treatment. I don't know what the acute event, but there's evidence to say that augmentin was given. You will have to start phase is committed. Right? But these things happen now. These nurses didn't have any intention to give it. It was a purely a mistake due to your practice, right? Even if and also if you read it very carefully, that you know that it is in bed that is allergic to augmentin, but they didn't see that. Just read the drugs are. Right? So it's an unfortunate incident, but there's no way out. The only thing is, they call me one day to give evidence. I have to tell this. No, I can't say whether it is okay, you know what. But result. The only thing is, I can't even say it is a drug reaction. The only thing is, it's an acute thing has happened because patient up to that thing perfectly normal and just collapsed. They were giving drugs. So obviously it has to relate it to some giving some drugs, but I can't say what it is. But following that, he has a severe brain damage, paralysis, pneumonitis, okay. So you have to think that these things can happen. You are not doing anything purposely, but it's just an unfortunate incident. But sometimes you don't have a way out. So whether it's medical practice or non-medical practice, these things can happen. Right? So it's better. Okay, have a routine procedure, but you have to constantly check the things you do and what the other thing is medical people or even the others get into a defensive practice due to this litigation. Now in medicine, like you are clinically sound, you have a clinically sound and without doing investigation can come in to diagnose and treat. But because you have this thing in back of your mind that you must have had subject to litigation, if you make a mistake, you postpone. Right? Sometimes when there's instruction say that this drug gives this reaction, though it is the most ideal, the best drug that could do, you avoid that and give another one instead of it because you don't want to get into this problem. So you get into the habit of doing defensive practice. Right? You are not doing the ideal or the best thing. You are doing the things which is okay, treatment wise okay and less problem for you. Right? So that is also not uh, good, right? Because there are certain things that you do in your clinical judgment, or if it is non-medical field, you are taking decisions from your experience. Right? To get into this habit of defensive practice, sometimes it is become a problem and can't develop or Uh, right. So I think that's anything else you want to ask because you don't have to stick into the system always, right? Uh, because sometimes your clinical judgment is, or your the decision you're taking by your experience is better than what is written there, right? And some people try to fit into the routine and do it everything routine, and you are not thinking out of box. What is the possibility? So therefore, you are wasting your time, money, everything. So to give you an example, like when I told you I was in Canada for my abroad training. So at the end of the year, I was coming back, packing my things. As a friend came to see me. He said, "Said, "I have to come because he when every day around 2:30 in the morning, he get a sort of just burning pain in the chest, right? So he picked up, can't sleep, so I had gone to the general practitioner. Yes, advised get some investigation, X-rays, ECG, a lot of things. So he's waiting, just gone and done. So he had taken about a week to 10 days to get the investigation and go back to the GP. Right? So I just actually asked what happened. So he said, doctor is thinking about some heart condition. Right? That's what happened. So it's there every day. Yes. So every day around 2:30 in the morning. Right? It can't be something related hard, obviously, because then so routine every day or every day at 2:33 in the morning he gets this burning chest sensation. Isn't what is? I think in my opinion it's best like this, nothing else. Right? So I asked what's your food pattern? He said, no, I said okay, but now it will take now we can't go before that one. We have to wait for 1 week to show the report to the. So I said, okay, you get that. You take meals regularly, take something in between, drink a lot of water, and at the night time before going to bed, you have a glass of milk. Right? You do that, then you go and so then following day I came back. About 2 weeks later, he called me. Right? Said, what happened? He said, I took the investigation because everything was normal. The doctor also said, don't have to worry, don't have anything. So I said, what about your problem? He said, I did what you said. By the time I went back to the doctor with the reports, there was nothing wrong. He was sleeping well, nothing wrong. So it's purely gastritis. Because what happened is now, is it that bit of intolerance is happening every day around this time? Related to heart now, right? So something what happens is when they get into the system, this legal matters, litigation cases, your mind get it fixed into the system. You don't do anything out of the system because you don't want to take a chance. Right? So you can't do that as well. Right? Then you waste your time, energy, money. I will copy my other presentation here so if you want you can because it has I summarize it because my other presentation about 140 slides details. So it's good if you can leisurely read, right? So I will copy it and ask them to give you a copy. If you have any other question, you can ask. While I'll copy it. Yeah, please copy it. I'll copy both to the desktop.
This has 141 sites. So if some just in detail, so you can read it leisurely, right? Uh, where is it? This one and this one, right? One called Durden's because I used this for recently lecture at Durden's. Other one is medical legal issues. These two, right? So if you have a pen drive, you can copy or I'll ask them how they might. Any questions?
No. The for you don't have only two ways reason why you don't have any question. One thing is but that you understood everything I told. This is very, very unlikely. Second thing is that you don't understand anything at all. So therefore can't ask. So I don't think that my idea is possible. Right? Probably the only thing is because I was talking about a lot of medical stuff because you are not used to it. You might find it a bit difficult to relate it to the non-medical thing. But only thing is you just know the basic, we get the basic idea, but what happens when you are try to apply it practically, you might find a problem. Then you have to be aware about it, right? In that situation, you might have to get advice from someone else, right? So that is usually what happens now. Even when I'm teaching the undergraduates in theory and even clinical appointment, when teach them, yes, fine. Yeah, teaching, telling them they understand, right? They think that they have got everything, but when you try to put that into practice, you will find the practical situation. You are facing with the practical situation where the only the theory cannot be applied, right? So that has to be you have to know, right? Because now the the current generation of medical students, I don't know about the rest. Probably it is same. The analytical power is very much. No, I won't say less. You are not practicing. No, you are not applying. When you even ask a question in the papers, in the exam also they write in like very theory. Right? Recently we had our exam. One of my question, I think average they pass, but I was it was a bit unexpected. It was not a theory question, it was practical. So what students have tried to do is get the practical, very practical, put the theory. That won't do it. And when I ask, say, what's about firearm injury, I say, what are the likely entry and exit for? Because there are about, I like this like 10 wounds, one few having the characteristic features to say that these are entry, right? So everybody have identified those as entry and exit because that is theory, right? And I have then another wound back of the head, one, right thigh, back of the thigh 1, perforating injury, left thigh 2. Now, this some most of them they have not written about it, right? So after releasing this, I have why. What is the problem we are having about commenting the injury and the head? There's no other information given. So what information do we need? Other than said, just say that there is gunpowder deposition, those things. Why do we need? Because one thing is I have asked likely. So you said for this reason, this is the likely. I think that is acceptable argument. I would have given marks. Right? So what is the problem about this thing? Because it is the only wound. I have said, in the started, I have said bullet-ridden body. Right? So then you have to don't worry about, say, whether it is gunshot or not type of weapon, because I have given bullet-ridden body. And so that means all the injuries I have mentioned is due to bullet, due to bullet. So this is the only one in the back of the head. What else it could be? Could it be the exit? It's said no. So why don't you? So sometimes they don't think, right? But they don't analyze and say it's I has us like this. So give it the reason. Your probable argument here. And this one, I was expecting I all one say that it is the entry. It's not more. Average maybe around 40 to 50% have not. That's because they are not trained to think and know the theory well, know how to apply the theory.
Sometimes they only implement their execute.
Sorry? Yeah. So what they are doing is they are talking about entry and exit. You cannot exit without entering, no. Right? So if it is the head, you have only one entry. Like I'm saying, it's a bullet-ridden body. Has to be the entry, no. But they, so what happened is the fault of our education system. Because even the A level, you are trying to study, and go and write here. So can't blame students on but we have to be ready for that. Everything is not theory. Sometimes theory is there, what you see is different. It's not, you can't accept, you use the theory to interpret and read certain other things which affecting the appearance. So you have to think and think. So likewise, I told you mainly about things related to the medical or health profession. Basic things could be applied to other professions. Also, you might be charged of negligence, fraud, some other allegations, right? So, things we have to know. Right. Okay then.
Macam mana bagi kita